Hi, I'm Bob Nagin, and welcome to this special training just on how to sell during the holidays. Before we begin, I'm going to assume that you've gone through the sales training program already, that you already know the 6 steps to a perfect purchase, that you already know how to sell. This is merely an addendum. This is an addition that helps you understand the special opportunities and challenges that come with the holidays. So before we begin, let's just talk about a couple things that are important to remember when you're on the floor of a retail store during the holiday season. First of all, never judge a book by its cover. You know, somebody may come in and they've been working on the farm all day and they're wearing coveralls and they're dirty and sloppy, but guess what? They may own a 1,000-acre farm and they may be multimillionaires. This is a common mistake that I see being made all the time. That retail salespeople see somebody, and if they're not dressed a particular way or if they don't look a particular way, they pigeonhole and try to sell them less expensive goods. So it's really about everybody deserves the same treatment. Don't ever assume that you know what someone can spend when you start to talk to them about their holiday shopping. Another common mistake is selling out of your own pocket. And by that I mean you taking what you believe something is worth and imposing that belief on your customer. So if I would never spend $15,000 for a watch, that doesn't mean that somebody doesn't want to spend $15,000 on a watch. This is not what you believe is something is worth. It's not about what you can afford to spend on something. It's about what your customer wants and what they want to spend and what they want to give. So don't sell out of your own pocket. Listen to them, understand them, pay attention to them, and go where they want to go. Of course, we're going to talk about ways to guide them, but don't sell out of your own pocket. Make sure that you're selling the goods that they want to buy. Also understand that buyer motivations are different during the holidays. Quite often, so during the year, people may be buying gifts. If you have a gift store, they may be buying gifts. Even if you don't have a gift store, they may be buying gifts. But more than likely, they're looking to buy something for themselves. And during the holidays, you have a different set of motivations. Some people are looking for the perfect gift. That's what they really want, to find that extra special something for every person on the list. And some people just have a list and their job is to cross things out. So understand that at the holidays, people have different motivations, and if you're a great salesperson, you're going to be sensitive to that and work with everyone's individual motivations, not just assume. It's kind of like selling out of your pocket. Don't assume that someone's in a hurry. Don't assume that someone's looking for the perfect gift, or don't assume that people just want to cross things off. It's really about being sensitive. When you went through the sales training program, you learned about questioning and listening, and that's really part of what this is. And finally, sort of in this, the fourth thing in this, things to think about before we actually start about the sale, is always, every day during the holiday, do a pre-check. And a pre-check is when you walk the floor before you start selling and you see what's there, you see what's in stock, you see what's out of stock. If the store has been slightly re-merchandised due to, pockets of merchandise being sold out, you need to see that. There is nothing more embarrassing, I know, than saying, oh, I've got the perfect gift for you. Let's go over here. You bring somebody to the wall and you're out of that item. So, a pre-check only takes about 5 minutes, but it's time incredibly well spent. You're also going to start to see things like what items you're running low on, what items you're sort of overstocked on. So the pre-check is the floor and the stock room. Understand what your business has to sell and then sell accordingly. The first part of the sales process is the greeting, as you know, and there's a little bit of different. So when you're selling at the holidays, the greeting can be a little different. People are in a lot more of a hurry. You understand that they're probably there to buy gifts, so the greeting doesn't have to take as long. It can be quicker, and you can move into the actual key question and move into the selling process a lot more quickly than during the year. Also, it's important during the holidays that you mimic, and this is part of the greeting. So if you walk into my store, I need to pay attention to you and mimic. You know, from the selling program, you know what mimicking is. It's adapting your mood to your customers. If someone's in a hurry, well then by golly, you need to mimic that and, you know, move them through. Make it, you know, hurry it up. Make it happen for them. If they're, you know, very thoughtful, you need to slow down and be thoughtful. You know, so really pay attention to their moods. You can move through the greeting more quickly, but you also need to really pay attention to how they're feeling and adjust how you're interacting with them based on how they're feeling. Questioning and listening. There are some really there are some differences between regular times of the year and holidays. First of all, you can have different key questions. So, who are you shopping for today is a very, very safe key question, particularly when you get later on into the season. A choice key question: are you shopping for yourself, or are you shopping, or are you doing some Christmas shopping, or are you shopping for yourself? So whenever you ask the key question during the holidays, acknowledge that it's the holidays and make that part of your key question. Kronos Incorporated, they're a work management company, has this very, very interesting statistics that 45% of the people who shop during the holidays are also shopping for themselves. So it's almost an incorrect key question to say, who are you shopping for? So really during the holidays, I like that key question. Are you shopping for yourself, or are you shopping for a gift? And if they say gift, well then you're off and running. If they say it for themselves, well that leads to a different line of questioning, doesn't it? Something else that you're going to get a lot more of is people saying to you after the key question, I'm just browsing. And rather than just saying, great, let me know if you need anything, and leaving them, the holidays is an important time to give them direction. And so what you want to say is, great. You know, and if you have in-store signage about stocking stuffers, you can point that out. If something is on sale that day, you can point that out. So give them direction. Cashmere sweaters are 20% off today. Or, you know, our most popular holiday item is blank. So just by giving them some direction, talking to them about something, quite often they will play back something to you that will allow you to get back into the conversation. So I say, you know, cashmere sweaters are 20% off today, and if all of a sudden they go, oh, that's interesting, I was thinking about getting a sweater for Aunt Mary, well, good. Now you're having a conversation about Aunt Mary. So by giving people direction, quite often you transition them back from just browsing to a conversation that, of course, if you have the right stuff and you're a good salesperson, will result in a sale. It's also important to understand that when you sell during the holidays, the focus is quite often different. So when you sell during the year regularly, usually you're focused on the person you're talking to. During the holidays, quite often, you're focusing on the end user. So if I'm talking to Susan about Aunt Mary, I'm not talking to Susan about what she wants. I'm talking to Susan about Aunt Mary. So understand that there's a recipient, and by shifting your you're focused and talking about Aunt Mary, you're going to get to that perfect purchase a lot more effectively than if you talk to the person you're talking to. So always understand where this merchandise is going and focus on the person who's going to use it. Of course, if the person is shopping for themselves, you go back and talk about them, but if there's a gift, shift that focus to the recipient. You went through the selling program, and you know the more you sell, the more you know, the better you serve. The better you serve, the more you'll sell. And that holds true all the time. If you're a great retail salesperson, that is even more important during the holidays. Because if I come into your store to buy something for myself, I probably have, I have limited needs. But if I come into your store and I'm shopping for gifts, I have significantly more needs than when I'm shopping during the regular time, any other time of the year. So really questioning and listening, and really, really being good at the questioning and listening part of the program, of the relationship is so important. So always remember that. You're always paying attention. You're always listening, because you never know where those questions are going to lead you, and you never know what it's going to do to the sale. Finally, price point becomes more important. And, from the program, that it's a very legitimate question. At the holidays, it becomes even more important because quite often people have a limit. So if John says to me, I want a gift for my Uncle John, who's 63 years old, and he loves games, I say, great. How much do you want to spend? So price point, particularly at the holidays, becomes important. So I'm going to sort of review what you learned in the selling program, but you open your arms, you're very empathetic, you're very non-judgmental, and you ask. And $20, hopefully you've got something in that price point, and you say, great. And you go and you start the demonstration. So price point, especially during the holidays, you don't want to show somebody that's $100 if their budget is $20. And especially during the holidays, quite often people have very firm budgets. So I know in my family, $20 or $50, when we're exchanging gifts, there is a limit. And there's a couple people in my family who aren't going to be happy if you go over the limit. So pay attention, be sensitive. Make that part of your process. The demonstration. Don't start with too many options. People are there for the holidays. They're buying lots of stuff. If you show them too many things, if you give them too many choices, it becomes confusing. Once you've asked a lot of questions, once you understand what they're really looking for, Aunt Mary wants a sweater, you want to spend about $75, give your customer a couple of choices, 2, maybe 3. Don't start showing them every sweater in the store. Start with a couple of choices and pay attention to their body language. So you show that customer a sweater at $75. If your customer starts to light up, you're moving someplace. So it's really important that you pay attention to body language. We talked about active listening in the selling program, but with gift giving, it becomes even more evident, because they're going, because people don't know. I may not know Aunt Mary, but I've got to get her a sweater for $75. And I'm going, well, that's saying something, isn't it? If I'm going, oh, that's saying something. So really pay attention to body language, and that will give you lots and lots of clues. The next thing to understand with the demonstration is that's the time to sell up. So quite often people will give you a price point, but it's not a firm price point. So if I say $75 and it's firm, it's $75. But it may be that I'm just picking a number because I think a woman's sweater should cost $75. I don't know. And, so then the process becomes, well, here's something at $75, but let me show you this sweater that does this, 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 and this. You show the benefits of the more expensive goods. And again, you're reading their body language. And when I used to sell kites, we had a wall of stun kites. And it started at $30, $29.99. And it went to, or it started at $19.99, $29.99, $49.99, $79.99. And every step up on the wall, because they were on the wall, every step up on the wall had added value. It was lighter, so it flew in a wider range of wind speeds. It was bigger. The materials were better. But because they were all there, and because there was clearly defined differences in value, I was able to easily talk to people about the more expensive goods. And so understand that, and when you start to prepare for the holiday season, start to think about, if somebody likes this, what's the next thing that I can show them? And again, it's active listening. So if I show my customer a $75 sweater for Aunt Mary, but I show her this $100 sweater, and there's no body language saying, no, Bob, you're spending too much of my money. I don't like this. If they're going, oh, that's interesting, well, then you keep selling up. It goes back to what we talked about earlier. Don't sell out of your own pocket. Just because I said I want to spend $75 doesn't mean that that's all I'm willing to spend. So selling up is an incredibly important part of your job as a retail salesperson during the holidays. Now understand this too. I think that this is important. It goes back to that whole sort of selling out of your own pocket conversation. When you sell somebody something of more value, meaning it's probably more expensive, quite often you're giving better service. And your customer is going to be happier, the person who gets the gift is going to be happier, and you will have done your job as a salesperson better. Selling is service. Selling up is service. Showing them the best possible goods is service. You have to be incredibly sensitive to how much they want to spend, and if you're selling them up the wall, so to speak, and all of a sudden their body language goes, whoa, that's a time to stop. That's a time to stop. 85%, this comes from Harris Interactive, 85% will buy. Well, I'm sorry, I'm talking about adding on now. I turned the page and didn't realize that I needed to start a new section. So we're talking about adding on here. So first you sold up, now you add on. And Harris Interactive did a shopper survey, and the survey results said that 85% of shoppers, will buy more from a knowledgeable salesperson. And that's not just product knowledge, that is also sales knowledge. A skilled salesperson who is walking their customer through the process in a very, very proactive, friendly, customer-focused way. So what do? The first thing we need to do once you've made that sale, so I've sold that person a sweater for Aunt Mary. So now you need to show accessories or other needed or nice items. Here's a couple of examples. This will really make your gift special. And I show some accessories. These earrings would go beautiful with this sweater. This scarf this really completes your gift is another statement that transitions beautifully into the add-on. This gives them everything they'll need is another transitional statement. All of these transitional statements go from, you've decided to buy this, now these things will make it even better. Clearly if you sell something that takes batteries, you need to sell batteries with it. But also just suggesting things, it makes the experience better, it will make the gift better, and you'll be doing a better job as a salesperson. There's also then, besides just adding on to the gift that the person has already purchased, there's also the implied you're not done yet. So for 19 years I had a kite and toy store, and that was always, so I sold a gift for that 10-year-old girl who loved games. Well, what's next? You have more people to buy from there. So you have to say, you have to ask, who else? So who else do you have to buy for? Who else is on your list? If you've really had a good relationship and, you and your customer both agree that you've come to the perfect gift and they go, that's perfect, the question becomes, who else needs a perfect gift? I've helped you find a perfect gift for Aunt Mary. Who else do you need a perfect gift for? So who else do you need to cross off your list? Remember we talked about mimicking? So if somebody's in a hurry and they've got a long list, who else do you need to cross your list off? My brother Steve was famous for asking. He'd say, I'll tell you what, just give me your list, tell me how much you want to spend, come back in 2 hours and I'll have it all done for you. He was pretty bold, and he asked it in a nice sort of half-joking way, but it was only a half-joking way because people have given him their list, told them how much money they had to spend, and came back later. He was mimicking, he was paying attention. Those people just wanted to get it done. Get it done. And this happens a lot with guys, doesn't it? Guys come in, they don't want to shop, they just want to get it done, and they want it to be done right, they want it wrapped, they just want to be done with it. Those are the people who you have to keep asking, you have to really pay attention to. Stocking stuffers. So I've sold this sweater, and I've sold the perfect scarf that goes with it. So we're having a nice conversation, and on the way to the counter, I say, do you need any stocking stuffers today? Are your stockings full today? So if they say my stocking's not full today, what does that do for you as a salesperson? It gives you the opportunity to show stocking stuffers. So stocking stuffers are an absolutely huge opportunity for you as a salesperson. Every single person you need to say, are your stockings full yet? Do you need any stocking stuffers? Because most people are always looking. Even people who have done all their shopping, they're looking for that little extra something, they're looking for that special something, they're looking for that inexpensive something, that cool something. So just by suggesting stocking stuffers, you will increase your sales. This comes from my colleague Harry Friedman, and Harry Friedman has a saying, show until they say no. And that should be your mantra. You are not being pushy when you continue to show people merchandise. If they don't want to hear about it anymore, for crying out loud, stop. But, during the holidays, people are buying. They're in a buying mood. They have a budget. They're feeling good about spending their money if they're spending it correctly. So don't shut it off. If they're buying, you're selling. I used to, nothing used to make my heart gladder than having, a pile of toys in the corner. When it got like this, I was like, you stay right here. I'm going to put this down by the counter, and we're going to continue to shop. And by that time, everybody's in a good mood. They're buying, I'm selling. I'm suggesting that to you. They're buying, you're selling. Don't feel guilty about it. They're there. They have money. They're spending it. It's not your issue. How much they spend is not for you to determine. It's for them to determine. If they're buying, you're selling. The close is an important part of this whole thing. One nice thing that you can do, a very obvious close during a a very obvious technique during the close, during the holidays, is to use someone's name. So if I'm talking about a gift for Aunt Mary, and I've asked all the right questions, and I know that we've come to the right place, I can say, is that the perfect gift for Aunt Mary? And they say, sure, that's the perfect gift for Aunt Mary. That is a closing question. That sale has been made. That's when you go and start adding on. That's when you walk them to the register. That's when you do things like that. Another assumptive close is, Aunt Mary is going to love this. You're not asking if they're going to buy that for Aunt Mary. You've already determined that. You've already asked all the right questions. You've earned the right to that sale. Aunt Mary is going to love this. Let's go to the register. So that's those assumptive closes that use the recipient's names are an incredibly effective closing techniques during the holidays. Another assumptive close is, would you like that gift wrapped? So I'm talking to Jennifer about her Aunt Mary. I've asked all the right questions. I know that Jennifer's excited. I know that it's the right thing. Would you like that gift wrap for Aunt Mary? And she says yes. Good. That sale has been made. At the register, Susan, would you do me a favor? Would you put together a whistling balloon helicopter? I just realized I don't have a whistling balloon helicopter put together. Aubrey knows where they are. So we've done this whole thing, right? So I've worked with my customers and I've filled, I've sold them everything that they can buy from my store. That's the goal, right? Selling them everything they can buy from your store. Clearly, well, maybe not always, but when I had a toy store, we didn't have a gift for everybody. But our goal was, if you can buy it from us, we're going to try to sell it to you because that's our job and you'll love what we sell you. So once we get to the register, there's a whole new set of opportunities. So there's a set of opportunities on the floor during the holidays that are slightly different than what happens during the rest of the year. And there's also a set of opportunities at the register. Every customer, these are the opportunities for impulse items. And I want you to do this with every single customer. Before you give them a total, you have to show them something. Did you see these candlesticks, these fizz balls, this lotion? Here, try this lotion. Did you smell this? Did you taste this? Did you try this? A quick story. Years ago, there's a wonderful home accessory store here in West Michigan, in Holland, Michigan, Moynihan Galleries. And years ago, Kate Moynihan saw me speak at a Chamber of Commerce or a downtown meeting. And I talked to her. She saw me speak in October, and I talked to her again in January or February. And she said, I did that add-on thing, Bob. And I says, wow, that's great. Tell me more about it. And she said, well, we got these beautiful red and green candles. And it was a non-negotiable standard that every single person, before they were told their totals, was shown these candles. Have you seen these beautiful candles? Was all that had to be done. Have you seen these beautiful candles? And I said, well, how'd that work out for you? And she thought about it. She says, well, we sold through them twice. She said, we sold $10,000 worth of candles. That's found money. So that space at the counter is a huge, huge part of those impulse items. I mean, again, people are spending money at the holiday. Make sure you're doing everything you can to optimize those opportunities. Have 2 or 3 things at the counter. Not everything is going to fit everyone. But if you have a couple of choices to show people, you dramatically increase the odds that it's going to be right. Thank you, dear. This was my favorite add-on. And during the holidays, oh my goodness, I would sell so many things. This is a whistling balloon helicopter. We bought them for 65 cents. We sold them for $1.99. What's that?
Up here.
Up here? Like that? Okay. We sold them for $1.99, and I would do exactly what I'm asking you to do. So I'd sell the stuff, we'd be at the counter, I would just say, have you seen these? And people would say, I'll take 3, I'll take 4. If there was a line, you could see people going, huh, 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 huh. By the time they got to the counter, they were taking 10 or 20 or a box. So just don't ever underestimate the opportunities that are there for impulse items. When's the best time to sell somebody something? When they have their credit card out. So always do it before you give them the total, but understand that it needs to happen every time. Now, if you have people who come into your store and shop repeatedly, like you see the same people in your store a couple times a week, you probably want to have different items, so you want to rotate them so they're seeing different things. They're not seeing the same thing. If I'm buying from you the 4th time, I don't want to see a whistling balloon helicopter the 4th time. But understand that at the counter, those impulse items are a huge opportunity, especially at the holidays. Don't miss it. The next thing, and this is really more an issue for the owners, but I want to talk about it here with everyone, is the holidays is a wonderful time for you as a business to build your mailing list. A lot of people will come into your store for the first time during the holidays, and you really, really, really want to take that opportunity to get their name and address and email address and begin the relationship so that you can sell them through the rest of the year. And I know it gets busy, but it's so important. One of your opportunities as a business is to turn those holiday shoppers into regular customers. And if you don't get their contact information, you can't proactively develop the relationship. All you can do is hope that they come back in. So I hope, so if you're watching this, it means that you have the Retail Mastery System, and the 6-box program is a perfect loyalty program. But no matter what you do, understand that the holidays is a wonderful opportunity to build your list, and so you as a salesperson and you as a business owner need to do everything you can to get the contact information from every new customer. Finally, one of my pet peeves in retail is when people don't say thank you. So you as a salesperson need to say thank you and Merry Christmas to every single person. Have a good day is not the same as thank you. See you later, even with a big smile on your face, is not the same as thank you. Those 2 words, thank you, thanks, Merry Christmas, genuinely imparting that sentiment is part of what you have to do if you're going to be a great salesperson. Finally, when it's super busy, here's a couple tricks of the trade. First of all, acknowledgement is critical. So it's the Saturday before Christmas, your store is filled with people, it's crazy, crazy filled with people. Be aware of what's going on in the floor. And so this simple thing, seeing someone, is not being rude to the person who's there, but seeing someone, hey, eye contact, establishes the fact that you are there to help them, that you want to help them, but you're with someone right now. Just that simple eye contact and acknowledgement goes a long ways towards keeping people in your store when it's slammed. And that's what you want to do. If you don't have the manpower, if you as a salesperson is running around talking to too many people, if it's busier than the staff can handle, that acknowledgement will keep people around. It's great service. Open up. If you're an experienced retail salesperson, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not an experienced retail salesperson, you're going to know what I'm talking about soon enough, with the holidays right around the corner. I'm selling something to someone, and all of a sudden I feel a couple people behind me. So let's say I'm talking to a person right in front of me. I'm talking about that sweater for Aunt Mary. And I feel a couple people behind me. You know what they're doing? They're listening. They're interested in what I'm selling, and they're listening to what I'm saying about it. That's what they do. Here's how you handle that. You open up. You see what I did? I went from talking to somebody here to talking to people there. And I would actually tell people, here, come on around. And you can hear what I'm talking about. So you actually invite them into the circle. You're still talking to that person primarily, and you're going to have to ask that person the closing question. But what you're doing is you're bringing people into the conversation, and it allows you to effectively help a lot more people. So that's just open up, bring people in. The same thing holds true if you're near the front of the store and a lot of people are coming into the store. You know how it is on the Saturday, when it's busy. Hey, come on in. So you start to talk to groups of people rather than individuals. And understand that that's part of, being aware of what's going on in the floor. You can't get into this plotting mindset. You have to be aware. And finally, and I think that this is the most important thing, understand it's the holidays. It's the holidays. They're coming into your store, and it's your job to make them feel special. It's your job to create and maintain and enhance that holiday spirit. And I know exactly how long and grinding a holiday season can be. I worked dozens of them. But you know what? It doesn't matter how tired you are. It doesn't matter how many times you've talked about that sweater. It doesn't matter how many times you've blown up the whistling balloon helicopter. Every single person you talk to deserves that special treatment, that special spark that you can give. And that's what I really want to encourage you to do. Even if you're tired, even if you're worn out, even if you're sick of it, fake it. Put a smile on your face. And here's what I know about the holidays. When you put a smile on your face, even if in the beginning, if you're faking it, very quickly, not sooner or later, very quickly, you talk to somebody, you throw out that Christmas spark, you make them feel good, they're going to feel good back, and the next thing you know, you're in that holiday groove, you're selling naturally, you're selling easily, and life in retail is good again. Make your holiday special by making your customers' holiday special. So that's that. This is, a very, very brief discussion on the differences, subtle but very, very important differences on how to sell during the holidays. My sincerest wish for you is that you have an absolutely great holiday season, that you have lots of fun, your registers ring, and everything works out exactly like you planned.